Here's a question that many of us have. What is God?
Please ask that question to God. I know who I am, and I'm sure God knows who God is. So when you meet God, ask that question.
Okay.
But there are a few things. When you observe this universe, the cosmos, you begin to see this essential nature of this universe is something like consciousness or intelligence and energy. And ancient Indians talked about, Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is consciousness, and Prakriti, you can say, is energy, positive, negative, and neutral energy. So the universe, the movement of universe, contains these two fundamental elements. Through observation, you can see there's a consciousness and energy. And also, when you observe the universe, there's a fundamental movement of involution and evolution. The involution is a higher vibration of energy, which means higher quality of consciousness coming down in vibration, and eventually it becomes matter, bound in matter. And then that matter again starts to unfold, what we call evolution. Eons and eons of time takes place for the supreme consciousness and energy coming down to become a matter, and then matter unfolding back again all the way into the supreme consciousness and energy. The difference between involution and evolution is really a fall and rise, crucifixion and resurrection. And one of the fundamental false assumptions that people make is the divinity of God at the inception of the universe. It's divine God create the universe. Then people ask this question, why there's so much violence, evil, negative things going on, suffering, illness. You don't see much of divinity in life.
Right.
If God is divine, God is love, why do we have this? And people have come up with all kinds of ideas. But the bottom line is this. In the involution is only creative. And this involutionary process comes all the way down to the creation of the earth. And this gradually, from this earth, life begins to evolve. And until this evolution reaches the level of human beings, there is no self-reflective consciousness. And through this self-reflective consciousness, we begin to develop conscience, morality. So morality only comes when humans come into existence. And even then, later, when humans achieve a certain degree of consciousness. So without humans, there will be no morality in this whole universe, or human-like consciousness. And through this evolutionary process, we become more and more moral, rational, and loving, compassionate. So, omega point of evolution is divinity. So universe starts with creativity, pure creativity, which has an enormous amount of destructive power. You know, the Hebrews called the God El Shaddai, which means terrible, destructive, turbulent power. So involution has no divinity, no morality, nothing. And look at the Old Testament. God is a very mean person. And that is how it is in the evolutionary process. There's nothing in the Old Testament, in the Genesis, that talks about evolution. It's only evolutionary process. And then, gradually, plants come, animal kingdom, and human kingdom. And within the human kingdom, we are developing more and more. So humanity is divinity in the making. And only through human-like consciousness, divinity comes into existence. So God needs humans for it to become divine. And the difference also between involution and evolution is in evolution, there is a quality, interiority begins to come into existence. When there's an interiority, then there's a exteriority and interiority distinction. And quality is something interior as opposed to quantity that is exterior.
Okay.
And evolution is the enrichment and the unfoldment, expansion, and increasingly higher qualification of the interiority that develops through the process of evolution. That's why I say evolutionary thrust for optimization. I don't say maximization. It's optimization, higher and higher quality. And highest quality of interiority that we achieve will be perfect divinity, which is way into the future. We are somewhere in between the divinity, pure divinity, and pure savagery, brutality, somewhere in between. And many humans are still on the side of savagery. Few humans are a little bit more on the side of divinity. So we are not done with our evolution. And none of us in this life will ever be able to get the highest point of evolution. Omega point is way, way into the future. So, however, human consciousness as a whole, in the depths of your individual consciousness, you and I are inter-accommodating. We are two distinct individual consciousnesses. At the same time, we are fundamentally connected. Holographically, you are part of me, and I am part of you. In that field, inter-soul, inter-subjective field of consciousness, all the thought you have will be dumped in. And that we can say collective consciousness itself evolves. So we can contribute to the evolution of this collective, fundamental base consciousness, out of which individual consciousness emerge. So our contribution, individual contribution, will be very inconsequential. Yet, we are making contribution. So when every time you have a negative thought, you are dumping the negative thought. When you have a positive thought, you're dumping it. And then all the thought of everybody come into the mix, stew. So we want to contribute to make the stew more tasty. That is our contribution.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.